Hello everyone! Today we will talk about a revolutionary tool, the Code Interpreter, an official ChatGPT plugin by OpenAI. It is currently in beta stage and it's breaking the boundaries of what is possible with artificial intelligence. In this video we'll be looking into what the Code Interpreter is and how it works, what it can do. Without further delay, let's dive right in. Dinesh, can you tell us what the Code Interpreter is?
Sure, Dimitri. The Code Interpreter is a powerful tool for ChatGPT Plus subscribers. ChatGPT Plus users can enable access to Code Interpreter and other experimental new features in their account through account settings and under beta features. But what does this Code Interpreter do, you might wonder? It's essentially a ChatGPT plugin that can handle Python codes, uploads and downloads, all within a secure, sandboxed environment, which is nothing but a safe and isolated area, like putting your code in a productive bubble. The applications for Code Interpreter are numerous. You could use it for solving mathematical problems, data analysis and visualization, Python coding, like for building games, websites, you name it, file format conversions, web page scraping by uploading a HTML file, and even computer vision tasks. All of this through the standard text interface in ChatGPT.
Today we want to focus on the data analysis use case, as this can be widely used by entrepreneurs. It's a powerful tool to understand and visualize your data. Let's say you want to plot daily sales and conversion rates over time. You can simply upload your sales data file by clicking on the plus symbol next to the send a message text box and ask Code Interpreter to plot daily sales and conversion rates over time. Notice in the output how the daily conversion rate is jumpy. Now let's ask Code Interpreter to smoothen this by saying show moving average for conversion rate. It now plots a 7-day moving average. Notice how at the end of the chart the conversion rate suddenly spikes. It appears to be due to a very high value at the last day in the data. Let's take a step further and ask Code Interpreter, can you use advanced technique to smooth out a short-term fluctuations and highlight longer-term trends or cycles in the daily conversion rate?
Now, Code Interpreter explains what technique it is using and plots the graph with better smoothing. In short, the lowest method used here is better than a simple moving average to smoothen because it is less influenced by a data point which skews very high or low. We got all this in less than 2 minutes, and you don't need to be a statistician or a data scientist to create this. Just ask Code Interpreter in simple words.
This was a very good example. Now let's prod Code Interpreter with can you create 10 visuals to represent different data, include explanations at the last.
Wow, that's genius. It figures out the data, understands what graph makes sense, plots it, and provides explanation for why it created the chart. In our next example, let's ask Code Interpreter to forecast orders using Superstore data. Here, we will not only ask it to forecast orders, but also use the last 2 years of the data for testing purposes to compare against the forecast. After uploading the file, we can prompt us, ignore the last 2 years in the data and predict orders for next 2 years. Plot the ignored data containing actuals and show against the predicted line.
Now, just look at that! Even though we gave a pretty confusing prompt, Code Interpreter understands the data and correctly splits the data for training and testing purposes, similar to how a data scientist would approach it. It then shows what prediction model it used, why it used it, and plots a beautiful graph where you can compare actual and predicted values. When you have fine-tuned the prediction model, you can then ask the code interpreter to forecast for future orders. Further, you can understand seasonality by asking plot annual and weekly seasonality.
I think you all got the gist that Code Interpreter can produce amazing visuals to present your data for business purpose. Now, let's take a look at how it can save you time and money by classifying your data.
For this example, we will use Superstore data and prompt Code Interpreter with the following. Can you please do a segmentation and analysis for high value, medium value, and low value customers, and highlight some interesting key points using this data?
This looks great. Remember, here you can always use follow-up prompts to guide the model towards your desired output. Let's look at another example of classification, where we'll be uploading Google Search Console query data for a bookstore and asking Code Interpreter to classify them. The prompt is, categorize queries as informational or navigational or commercial or transactional.
Couple of clicks and voila! Everything is classified within minutes, saving a lot of time and lots of money. In the next part, we are going to look at driving insights using Code Interpreter. With the Superstore data, we can prompt the model to provide actionable insights and recommendations for improving sales and maximizing profitability. Can it handle it?
Wow, we immediately got 7 recommendations and reasoning behind it. Remember folks, this analysis is only based on data. Complement this with business knowledge and market conditions to drive positive results. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what to look for or ask as a prompt, especially with extensive data. For example, let's continue using the Superstore data and ask the model to take a look at the dataset and graph top 5 interesting insights.
And just like that, we got 5 insights with visualizations and detailed explanation. This can be the starting point for further prompting and diving deep into the data. Next, let's take a look at how to calculate customer lifetime value for a business. We can upload sales data including the columns for customer ID and sales, then enter a prompt like calculate lifetime value and explain why and how it is calculated.
This is a great example, Dimitri. Customer lifetime value is an important metric. Oftentimes, we see that businesses find it hard to understand or know how to calculate it. Here, Code Interpreter provides an explanation to calculate a simple lifetime value. You can also plot it in a graph by asking the model to plot lifetime value.
We got great insight, so why not to take it further and ask Code Interpreter to create a presentation based on a dataset. Let's enter a prompt. Can you create a presentation based on this dataset with top 5 insights and graphs?
Wow, so Code Interpreter can prepare the data, do the analysis, provide insights or recommendations, and create a plan for presentation for us within minutes. I'm confident that this is a game changer, and people who understand and properly utilize it can propel themselves forward.
Currently, unfortunately, we are limited to 25 queries a day using Code Interpreter. Even with these limitations, the Code Interpreter is an excellent tool for entrepreneurs. So don't shy from experimenting and innovating with it. We are eager to hear about your experiences.
Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below or contact us with your questions. And don't forget to follow us for more exciting content on AI and business. Until next time, keep learning and keep hustling.